Ducks. They're a common sight around Auckland City, especially in the city's parks and waterways. Most people see them every day and not pay them any particular attention. But today, we meet someone who's not so easy.
Well, I think the first time I realised that Maddie wasn't like other kids was when I was about 7 or 8. He'd never learnt to talk, and I think the exact moment actually was my grandmother. She sat me down one day and explained that Maddie was a very special boy, and well, he is, you know, I mean, he is special.
Matthew suffers from an extreme case of displaced identity conversion disorder. His case is exceptionally rare and has sparked the interest of specialists from the Sydney Psychological Sciences Institute.
Displaced identity conversion disorder, or DICD, is an extremely rare condition formed during early infancy. A child first learns to identify with and thus form a strong bond to the parent, especially the mother, the maternal figure. Even during gestation, where the infant hears the voice of the parent from within the womb. In the early when the child's self-image is based upon that identification with the parent, we obviously completely self-focused, and this self-identification becomes an integral part of the development of the capacity for relationships with other human beings later in life.
Filial imprinting is the process when young birds hatch, come out of the egg, and they start to associate with individuals who they first encounter in life. So if it's their mother, in case of a duckling it would be the female duck, they will start following that individual. If it's an object, if the experimenter put in a milk bottle, they will start following a milk bottle. So whoever is the first subject of attention that a young duckling encounters is going to be the object of filial imprinting.
Matthew's mother died during childbirth. He was raised and cared for by his maternal grandmother until she was committed to a retirement home. Since then, he's been cared for by older brother Simon.
However, Erikson's developmental theory suggests that where the initial parental contact, again especially with the maternal, with the mother, a child becomes unable to form any trusting, normal relationship essential for life.
What's special about ducklings is that only female ducks raise the brood, and so the male ducklings actually learn about the appearance of a female conspecific, a female who belongs to the same species, by looking at their mothers. If you were to replace a female duck with a male duck, the young birds will start courting male ducks when they became adults, and so you could confuse them for life.
DICD sufferers are unable to form the relationship with themselves. They displace the parent figures onto usually the first pairing of surrogate parents, but because of this they remain unable to form the kind of relationship with actual birth parents. In some cases you see the infant attach themselves to inanimate objects or household pets.
Every day of his life, Matthew's condition has brought him nothing but ridicule and confusion. People around here refer to him simply as Duckboy.
Well, there's a lot of you know, what you'll see about ducks is that they're not only social, but they are very dependent on forming social bonds with. Well, it's mostly the female's job to choose a mate. There's many more males typically available than females, and that's because the female does all the incubation, all the nest building, and it's really dangerous to be a female. So there's many more males around, and the males will not be able to be too picky. They have to choose whoever decides to choose them.
Well, actually, when I first got back in contact with Maddie, was actually through some friends. They told me about this guy that has this rare condition that makes him duckboy. I saw him down at the park one day, so he was hiding amongst some of the reeds there, and he saw me and he came over. And now that I think about it, it was probably after my sandwich, but I went and saw his brother later, and I told him about it, and he said that it hardly ever comes right up to people like that. I mean, I've actually known most of his life. We always just lived down the road from each other. But I was even at his mother's funeral. But what interests me about Matthew is the way that he doesn't conform to any sort of societal ideals of identity. In a way, he's addressing a lot of the same issues that Lars von Trier was addressing in his film The Eddies, like themes of personality deconstruction, social ideals of normality and identity, and sort of trying to reach a sort of higher plane of knowledge through rejection of these norms, like von Trier, Maddie, is addressing these issues, but he just sort of simply does it subconsciously,
Duckboy has seen several specialists for therapy throughout his life. Currently, he's just begun treatment with Dr. Thomas Russo, a member in good standing of the SPSI.
Went over this last week. Now what's that? Do you know what that is, Matthew? Do you want to look at this, please? You know what that is, don't you? I'm sure you do. You see these every day, don't you? That's a man, Matthew. It's a man. And what about this one? It's quite similar, isn't it? But it's not quite exactly the same. Do you know what that is? Matthew, can you look at this, please? Matthew, when I'm talking to you, we talked about this last week, remember? That's a woman. Man and woman. There's a third one here, Matthew. Matthew. Hey. What's that? What's the small one? That's a child, Matthew. Remember, you used to be a child? Now you're becoming one of these. You're becoming a man. Do you remember when you were small, Matthew? Sometimes it's just like this.